Evening and welcome to the August 12, 2025 work session of the Gaston County Board of Commissioners. My name is Chad Brown. I serve as chairman of the board as well as the commissioner of the Riverbend Township. I would like to welcome our viewers and thank Spectrum Cable and AT&T for making it possible for our citizens. For our viewing audience, I would like to wish everyone a great day, but also start on my far right with the commissioner.
Good evening, Scott Sheehan, Gastonia Township.
Good evening, Jim Bailey, South Point Township.
Good evening, Kathy Cloninger, Dallas Township.
Bob Hovis, Crowders Mountain Township.
Good evening, Tom Kigger, Gastonia Township.
First item on the agenda tonight is proclamations, commendations, awards, and certificate. Commissioner Kieger will now proclaim the month of August 2025 as Child Support Awareness Month in Gaston County. Commissioner Kieger.
Anybody come out to join me? There we go. Good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
I'll get right to it, and thank you for being here also, each of you. And whereas children are the best part of ourselves, the sum of our past and the promise of our future, the guarantee that our lives, values, and dreams will flourish long after we are gone. And whereas children are entitled to financial support from their parents, and Gaston County continues to improve its efforts at child support collections. And whereas Gaston County applauds those parents who support their children and make child support payments consistently to provide security for their children. And whereas fiscal year 24 and 25, over $14 million in child support was collected from parents in Gaston County. And whereas there are 6,663 child support orders in place to ensure that over 7,400 children receive financial support from their parents. And whereas many concerned and dedicated child support professionals, judges, attorneys, clerks of court, and sheriff's personnel work to establish and enforce child support orders for the children of Gaston County. And whereas increasing public awareness of the importance of child support through education, outreach, and parental involvement will reinforce the position that all parents are responsible for the financial, emotional, and physical support of their children. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Gaston County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaim the month of August 2025 as Child Support Awareness Month, and reminds us all that we are invested in the future of Gaston County's children, and we can collaborate to make that future stable and bright, and that will be adopted on the 26th day of this month. And I will present this to, you're going to get it? Yes, sir. And you want to go ahead and say something.
My name's Danielle Williams. I am the Child Support Program Coordinator. I have back here with me some of my supervisors and our DHHS leader. And I just want to take time to thank the board for recognizing the importance of child support awareness and supporting the work that we do. I'm very proud of my team. There's 33 of us all together that work along with the Sheriff's Department to help get service in the courts to help us to force those orders and collect this money. Almost $14.5 million this year. Conservatively, 95% of that goes back into the pockets of citizens in Gaston County. The other percentage goes back to help reduce the funds that are spent for Work First and foster care. So again, I just want to thank the board for taking time to recognize the importance of our program and help spreading the word that we're here to help. Thank you.
It is with great pleasure for the Gaston County Commissioners to honor citizens who have unselfishly given of their time, talents, skills, and energies in the service of an appointee to one of our many boards and commissions. This type of service is the foundation of citizen involvement in Gaston County government and is helping shape the future of our community. We gratefully acknowledge the work of the following individuals, and a certificate of appreciation has been forwarded to them. Robert King and Lynn Whitesides for the Animal Care Enforcement Advisory Board. Adam. Citizens recognition, no one had signed up tonight, so we will move forward. The next item on the agenda is presentations, opioid settlement strategy plan. Ms. Abigail Newton, Gaston County Assistant Public Health Director, will now do her assessment of the opioid strategic plan. Ms. Newton, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm here tonight to provide an update on opioid settlement funds and give you the highlights of the strategic plan. So as a reminder, $1.5 billion was awarded to North Carolina. Gaston County will receive $41 million over 18 years. $12.88 million has been received to date, and $8.3 million is allocated to 9 programs currently. Now we are funding Option A strategies. Here's an update on current overdose data. We are in a positive trend, which is fantastic. One of our currently funded projects is the Community Paramedicine Program with GEMS. This program has just been refunded for 2 more years and has demonstrated a large positive impact in the community. Another innovative program operated by GEMS is the Recovery Transportation Program. This program provides transportation to medication-assisted treatment appointments, primary care appointments, court dates, and treatment centers. Contegra is another one of our partners. They provide medication-assisted treatment to their patients. Because of the number of services that they are available to connect people to, they're able to get behavioral health, dental care, and even chiropractors. McLeod is an additional strong partner who provides medication-assisted treatment for uninsured and underinsured residents. 81% of clients adhere to treatment 6 months post-induction. Settlement funds also fund peer support specialists at DSS. These specialists work closely with families who are impacted by opioid use. In partnership with GEMS and the Sheriff's Department, settlement funds support medication-assisted treatment at the jail. Contegra Health is focusing on early intervention in the schools by working with students who have high-risk behavior. Over the past 2 years, our staff has been supporting programs in Exhibit A of the North Carolina MOA. In order to fund programs in Exhibit B, we're required to present and get approval for the Collaborative Strategic Plan. There was extensive community engagement work involved in creating this plan. Here are some examples of those Exhibit B strategies. Others include mobile units and supporting recovery housing. Our next steps is to post a request for proposals in the next 2 months. Additional RFPs will be posted annually based on the recommendations of the settlement team. And finally, our annual community meeting is September 16th at the Citizens Resource Center in Dallas, so I hope that you can all join us. Any questions?
Any questions from the board at this time?
Yes.
Commissioner Cloninger.
So are services provided, are they inpatient or outpatient? Or any of the services?
Well, the medication-assisted treatment is outpatient.
Do what?
The medication-assisted treatment is outpatient.
So there's no inpatient service?
Not
Okay.
currently.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Matt, question for our meeting on Friday. Would any of this qualify for any of the outs or any other foundational thing that we have through the county?
Certainly could. Something that we could look into and discuss as we move forward with that, yes.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your service. Next item is a presentation for the strategic plan update. Mr. Scott Attaway, Financial and Management Services Director, will now give a brief explanation of services and strategic plan. Mr. Attaway.
All right, thank you, Chairman Brown. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm going to go over our fiscal year 24-28 strategic plan update that staff's been working on since the beginning of the year. First off, let's talk about the process recap of that. We began in January with budget retreat workshops with the Board of Commission, where you all gave your priorities, and we went through several exercises. Then we moved on in March with county leadership, the county manager's executive team, that's the MET abbreviation there. We did a series of workshops there, and then moved over to county staff, directors, assistant directors, and other like line supervisors in departments, and held 4 focus group meetings, which we just wrapped up last week. We circulated multiple surveys and other engagement tools to all county staff to get input on this process. And I will say this, the manager is very intentional about making this a ground-up process of involvement throughout the whole county's almost 1,900 employees. And then there was a general public event with the Get to Know Gaston event that we held back in April, and we got a lot of feedback from the public. Some of the connections, I'm not going to read through all these, but I just wanted to have it in the packet for everybody, just the quick definitions of what vision, mission, values are, goals and strategies, which we'll get to shortly. But these are some of the connections that we need to be thinking about as staff as we're getting through this process and implementing this plan. So I want to present the updated vision. Gaston County government will be a model of intentional collaboration, innovation, and efficiency to expand local opportunity and attract global investment. And I want to just pick apart this vision a little bit. There was an emphasis this year, throughout the budget process we saw this, about being very intentional with scarce resources of the county. And so that was worked into the vision, being innovative, things like the process improvement position that has done a lot of that, and other departments that have done that throughout the county. And then expanding local opportunity, I think that's a good point towards the residents of Gaston County. We want to expand local opportunity by doing all the above. And then also global investment, attracting global investment so that the county can sustain its future with diverse revenue streams. Mission, a lot quicker to the point. This is the one you're remembering by heart. Service-driven, intentionally led, and resident-focused. And core values, previously we had 5. We moved around some of the wording on this, and I won't read all of them, but I want to focus on the second one. We support county employees through a focus on communication, well-being, mutual respect, and development. So the communication, when we were talking with some throughout these reviews, that kind of stood out because we want to make sure that the county is being very intentional from the manager's office down to the directors of why things are happening, board priorities, and making sure that's communicated through the whole organization so all employees understand. And then, like I said, I'm not going to read all the other ones, but you can ask any questions on those. And again, this is just like a guide of living the mission, vision, values in our staff's like daily lives, and how to keep this in front of staff and make sure that it's embedded in their work and then their department level plans, which they're going to get to in September and October. All right, goals and strategies. Catch up with my notes here. So the first goal is workplace culture. This goal is to grow a culture of valued employees that feel pride in their work, and ultimately that Gaston County government is envious to other local governments as a place that has a very positive culture for their employees. Several strategies are listed under this goal. Refine employee appreciation strategies to be consistent and affordable, therefore sustainable. Continuously improving culture from feedback of countywide surveys that are done on an annual basis, and increase education info sharing of priorities, progress, and Board of Commissioner direction for the county. Second goal is efficiency and effectiveness. This goal is to improve community well-being through organizational excellence and increased efficiency. Strategies listed under this goal would be to instill intentional collaborations between county departments, convening useful meetings to produce better outcomes. Then we have assist facilities, operations for efficiencies, complete additional internal process improvements across the county. And then lastly, leverage external dollars to increase revenue for strategic initiatives through grants and other external funding sources. Civic infrastructure. This one is to enable a resilient Gaston County by fostering an innovative civic infrastructure. This could include nonprofits, faith-based organizations, and local governments. And the proposed strategies under this goal would be to develop a framework to guide the county's role in supporting nonprofits and community partners to tackle challenges in Gaston County, strengthen engagement with local, regional, state, federal partners to address countywide needs, and then also support capacity building and partnerships with local nonprofits. Goal 4 is to sustain a growing Gaston County by implementing plans that enhance transportation, education, continue diversifying the tax base for future resiliency. And those strategies under this goal guide growth through countywide plans, infrastructure investments, and have proactive conversations with local governments about common challenges, develop partnerships to improve transportation in Gaston County, and strengthen cradle-to-career learning opportunities. Lastly, Goal 5 is talent. This is attract good employees. And I think if you get Goals 1 through 4 handled, this one pretty much takes care of itself. But the strategies that we've listed under this include refining the employee development and in-house leadership trainings. We did that during this last budget cycle of bringing more of those trainings in-house with current staff that are in leadership roles. Continue mentorships and coaching opportunities, very similar along those lines. And refine and standardize a consistent approach to recruiting and onboarding across the entire county, across all the departments. And moving from a shift of annual performance evaluation to constant evaluation and check-ins from supervisors to their staff. So quickly on metrics and reporting, there's going to be a small number and really driven of like the outcomes of the strategic plan and the metrics and reporting. We're going to be using peer benchmark data that we used a lot during the January, February, March budget retreat work sessions with you all. And that's from the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, the MAPS book, all that data. We used a lot of about 10 benchmark counties across the beginning of the budget process this year, if you all recall. And then we're currently in the process of developing those metrics and the reporting structure. Lastly, the department-level strategic plans. These department-level plans will align to this county-wide strategic plan, and they'll get more granular and specific in each department, but they will all feed from this update to the county strategic plan. We have been working, I failed to mention this at the beginning, but we have been working with Central Carolina Council of Governments on this whole process. We've contracted with them to facilitate these meetings, and they will be ending their contract with 2 workshops in September and October with all of those departments across the county. A manager's executive team will be involved so that we will be making sure that board priorities and those department level plans stay in alignment. And that's all I have. I just wanted to say real quickly, thank you, Central Line and the commissioners for your involvement in this process, and Matt and the executive team, all the directors, all the staff that came to a lot of meetings for a lot of hours to get to where we are now, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions from the Board of Commissioners? Seeing none, I'll
Yeah,
go ahead, Tom. Mr. Keeger.
thank you. Thanks, Scott. Just a question, not to do necessarily with the actual report, but what's the dues that we pay Central Line now? Any idea?
I don't know that off the top of my head.
But when we contract, we're paying more to bring
Correct.
them in for this.
Correct. Yeah, there's only so much that is covered in that annual membership, and this is one of those
But
things
do
that
we
are
get
outside.
credit for the dues that we pay towards when we go to them for assistance?
We have a representative from Central Iowa here.
Hello, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Kasha Thompson, and I'm the Director of Strategic Engagement and Technical Services for Central Iowa. Dues right now are just under 50 cents per capita per person in the jurisdiction, and that does give you access to various programs and services that are available at no fee.
Jurisdiction, you mean the population?
The
of
county, yes, sir. We also have cities that are members of Central Iowa. So beyond that, we do offer technical services that are beyond the buy-in to the regional mindset, such as this. We also do, we'll do assessment centers for jurisdictions. We've done a number of various services that are specific to jurisdictional needs, and one of those is strategic direction and planning.
What I was trying to get to, though, we're spending evidently well over $100,000 if it's 50 cents per person. For that money that we're paying up front, do we get part of that returned to us in credit?
You do receive a discount on these services, and I believe Central Iowa Services come in well below other strategic planning organizations that are often counted on within the state, including School of Government and other private support agencies. We do not look to make a profit off of these initiatives. Our goal is to help local governments move forward.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions? I wanted to add something that's come out of the strategic plan for years, and thank you, young lady, for your participation and helping in that. But one of the things I wanted, you mentioned the employees, Scott, in that continued care. This board this year put together all care for something that's been something we've strategically planned over time to help every employee. So any employee in here, you have something. You received an email, I think last week, was it, Vincent, you texted me, on all care. So it's something that this board has come to put out for you guys to help in the health care. So please look for that, and if not, we'll have you send it out again tomorrow to everybody. So if you're an employee, look at that, because it does provide you with an extra service that this board has done in your health care system to help you facilitate items at night or in different things. Bundling is it's a really good schedule, and thanks to Matt and his staff for putting that together. But that's some of the things that come out of what happens when we do a strategic plan and trying to figure out what we can do. When we talk about cradle to retirement is very hard for us, especially when we're recruiting. And some of those things we have to do, so that's outside the box thinking from the manager who put that together and his staff to really look for that. And that's something that a lot of people had really dedicated some things to finding out. So I was very proud to hear some of those things and look forward to some of the strategic plans that come out in the future. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item is presentation for Engage Gaston website. Mr. Juan Garcia, the smartest man in Gaston County government, transportation and planner, and Ms. Jamie Kimberlew, Director of Planning and Zoning, will now present the Engage Gaston website update. Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the County Commission. We're here to introduce a powerful tool that, if I can find it, here we go. And I'm the smartest person, okay. Now, we're here to introduce a powerful tool that is transforming how we engage with the community. The name of this tool is Social Pinpoint. This is a dedicated community engagement platform that is used by different organizations, including local governments, transportation agencies, and others. It offers more than 40 interactive tools, from surveys and polls to interactive maps, and allows residents to participate in planning, budgeting, and decision-making from wherever they are. What it sets it apart is that it's ease of use and flexibility. We can create project-specific engagement hubs without the need of technical expertise. And with already built AI-powered analytics in the software, we can instantly turn thousands of comments from the public into a clear, specific insights. It's helping us to respond faster to the community needs. That's why we have taken the proactive step forward by launching Engage Gaston and Envision Gaston. These projects are already transforming how we engage with the community by fostering clear and active civic participation. Whether we're gathering input on a new transportation plan or updating the zoning ordinances or shaping the long-term and strategic goals, this platform gives us the tools to listen, act transparently, and build a stronger connection with the residents. Some of the key features that we have is the inclusion of Engage Gaston and the comprehensive transportation plan. We also include 7 different departments in this initial step. We have the manager's office, budget, we have planning and zoning, parks and recreation, the tax office, tourism development, and the Office of Capital Improvements. This is the front page of the Engage Gaston. We have a video that plays a little bit on the front page. Then we have a drop-down menu with different hubs that participated in this initiative. It's a user-friendly interface. The site is designed to be accessible, intuitive, and is encouraging the participation from all segments of the community. And it has a real-time feedback, which allows transparency and data-driven decision-making. This is the 2 different projects that we have when people can go and click on them and leave some of the comments on these projects. So now I'm going to let Jamie to talk about Envision Gaston.
Thank you, Juan. I kind of want to say REZ-00 and go on with my spiel.
Maybe next month.
Okay. So just to kind of show you how we've all been using the Engage Gaston site, this is the Envision Gaston project. So we first heard about Social Pinpoint when we were interviewing consultants to help us out with this project, and we were excited because it really gives citizens the ability to get involved within the project, but without actually having to appear at public information meetings, which are usually what we see when we do these types of engagement projects. So this is our main page, and it gives an overview of what the project is and also how to get involved. But as you go through, you can also see that it gives you information about the workshops that are coming up. In this case, these ones were the ones that were done last week. It also gives you an online survey, an interactive map, which will be on the next slide, and then it gives you the engagement timeline, which shows you where we are in the process. So you can see on this one, we're still in phase 1, but we'll continue on, and as we go through, the consultants will be updating these slides for us. This page shows the map, and what I think is really cool about this is you can go on, say where you are, or say where you have a concern or an issue that you would like the consultants to kind of review, and you can see the comments on an interactive map, and it's showing you who in the county is engaging with this project. We also have the frequently asked questions on the side, which gives us kind of the ability to weed out some of the questions that we always get, like what is this project about? What does it look like to be involved? And how do I know what's coming up next? The other side of it that we are wanting to kind of keep building out and that we started using is how do we use the site to engage citizens in general and conditional rezoning projects? So we added in the Holly Springs Conditional Rezoning Project, which you saw at your last meeting. And what was neat about this is that this was the most engagement we got from the citizens on a rezoning project in general. Outside of coming to public information meetings, we received not any phone calls and not any walk-ins, but we received a lot of comments through this site about this project. So it gives the information about the site, the key dates for the meetings, and then it gives you the general areas, and you'll see on the map. But it also gave us the opportunity to share the documents that are relevant to the case. Most of the time, these documents are so large that we can't send them out or we can't send them back in an email when a resident asks for them. This site allows us to put 20-page site plans on there for citizens to review and give comments if they want to. The other part is they do give the opportunity to have as many comments that you want on there. And then with this, you can also engage with other people's comments. So if a citizen has already given a comment that somebody else agrees with, they can have the option to upvote it, or they can downvote it, or they can comment back on it as well. So these are just the ways that planning and zoning is planning to use the site. We really like the engagement that it gives us, but I will turn it back to Juan for the transportation plan.
Thank you, Jamie. On the transportation plan, as you see, there are over 1,200 different comments that were done between the months of February and April about transportation issues in regards to roadways, bike and ped, and other comments in transportation. We have also some information about what is important to you about the comprehensive transportation plan, and we have some questions and answers that you can click on it and see what the answer is about any one of those questions. We also have a mailing list. If you want to join the CTP mailing list, you're welcome to do so. And then if you want to hear from you, we can take a survey. We're going to go a second round of public engagement pretty soon. You also can leave a comment on a map as well. This is the timeline. This is a part of the process that we have with the comprehensive transportation plan. We're now on phase 4. And this is the links for the Engage Gaston and Envision Gaston. And Mr. Chairman, I also want to acknowledge some of the people that contributed to this initiative. Tyler Davis from Monitor's Office, Elizabeth McGee from Budget, Jamie and her team from the Planning and Zoning, Jared Evanson from the Office of Capital Improvement, Chelsea Tarbush and her staff from the Tax Office, Michael Applegate and Melissa McCullough from Travel Tourism, Spencer Hall from Parks and Recreation, and Adam Gull from Communications. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, that concludes our presentation. And if you have any questions, we're welcome to answer them.
Thank you so much, Juan and Jamie. Anybody have any questions? Yes, I do. It's always me. Juan, obviously, the first question I'm going to have is interactive with the Latin-speaking community.
It has the options to interpret that information into different languages, including Spanish, correct?
Jamie, second question. You talked about the comment section that's on there.
Yes.
Obviously, we have NIMBYs that are in there. Anybody who knows, it's not in my backyard type of, do we have the filter for those? Do we allow to put those up there, or they just automatically float to it? I'm not saying they're not valued, but what I'm saying is we have a lot of people who come in, and during public hearing, they can say what they want. We have to listen to it, but they do talk about just because they don't want it. It's just, so are those options that go on there, how is that filtered? Does it go to a group of you guys with Brian and everybody involved, or how does that play out?
So there are options to moderate the comments. You can moderate them before they get posted or after they get posted, and it's different for each project. We were actually just talking about this today, and we're going to be working with our legal team to kind of put together a policy that states when we keep a comment or when we remove a comment. Say maybe it's not in line with what the project is really wanting to do, or the comments are, hurtful to somebody else in the community. Something like that would be a reason that a comment gets taken down. We do want to be mindful of kind of the open information regulations that we have to abide by, but there is staff that is monitoring all of the comments that get posted.
So it's not in real time, it'd be delayed somewhat for a comment.
Right.
I guess my other question is, with those comments, we always talk about it when they come, we received whatever comments, would that be available to a portal, or is there something inside of this to where the commissioners can go in and look? I know one had the one where you had Dallas Cherville Highway. You saw 19 million comments on that little, you could tell where it's at. So with that, does that take priority on anything in the traffic community one, or is that just coming out for, is it just setting aside, showing what it is?
No, what we do with the comments, with definitely the consultant taking care of that information, they put them together. And with the analytics, we see what the heat of the problems are. And we look at it, not just on the map, but also by collecting all that information, so that way the consultant, not only in the Vision Gaston, but in the comprehensive transportation plan, they can look at those areas that need attention.
We can also take the comments into reports and provide those to you with the rezoning cases if you all want.
And I'll give you one piece of advice. Anybody in here be able to read that when y'all saw it on the TV? We need a bigger font for people who can't see like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is presentation by the Sheriff's Office update. Sheriff Chad Hawkins, Gaston County Sheriff's Office, will now do a presentation. Sheriff Hawkins.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners, staff, and citizens. I'm here tonight to talk just a little bit about the courthouse positions. I know there were some questions about that, so I wanted to, there were 5 positions that we had requested. And I have Captain Henderson Sergeant Worcester, and Sergeant Lowrance, who run the day-to-day operations here at the courthouse, so they can answer any questions and give some input as well. So I want to talk about this because it's very important, because this is a very vital building in our county. It has a lot of functions, houses a lot of very, very important and high-risk people in this building. So that's why it's so important to talk about this. I gave you a packet, and there's the first memo there is about the confidentiality of a lot of things. We can talk about some things, but because of the security of the courthouse, if there's a question that I can't answer, I'll answer for you in person. I guess the first thing is, to start out, I know I'd heard some questions about, well, when did this even come about? When did he even start asking for these positions? In my budget, and I did it at the budget presentation for the 5 positions with the justification. So I wasn't sure exactly where that came from, so I wanted to make sure that was clear. When I first took office, we had the North Carolina Sheriff's Association come in, and they actually did a courthouse assessment for us. And during that assessment, we found a lot of areas, and we actually put together a courthouse security team made up of the elected officials and a lot of staff inside the courthouse to identify weaknesses, areas that we could get better without manpower. But we kept coming back to, we need additional manpower. And so the recommendation as well was that we are not adequately staffed. So with that, I'll start with page 1 here. Sorry, page 2. In North Carolina, the sheriff has the primary duty for providing order and security in and around the courthouse. Courthouse security must be overlapped and multi-layered. Security must begin at the exterior of the courthouse, continue through the courthouse doors, and extend into all corridors and rooms. So the total square footage, it's actually a little bit more because of the second floor, but it's around 270,000 square feet. I won't bore you to death with all these numbers, but I'll kind of lay it out just a little bit. So operating every day, we're utilizing 184,000 square feet, because we're not really in the 5th floor, but we still had to sweep the 5th floor, because if you've been on our elevators around here, you're liable to end up on any floor, not intentionally. So the basement consists of 40,000 square feet, which is where we have holding cells and we have movement officers there. On the 1st floor, it's 46,000 square feet, 2nd floor, 46,000, 3rd floor, 46,000, 4th floor, 46,000, and 5th floor, 46,000. And those could be a little bit, those numbers we got from Public Works, so they could be just a little bit off because of the wing on the 2nd floor. But in all, though, that's a lot of area to cover with with the manpower that we have. So just on the 2nd floor, it encompasses the District Attorney's Office, Juvenile Services, Guardian Ad Litem, Hope United, Gaston County Sheriff's Office, Domestic Violence Advocates, Pretrial Services, Commissioner's Chambers, and the cafeteria area. So there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of offices there and a lot of moving parts. And unfortunately, people don't always come to this building with good intentions or with a happy heart. So we have to be prepared for anything. So if I could, if y'all want to flip through and you can move over to page 8. This is data to support the requested positions for the courthouse. The Gaston County Courthouse currently has 13 courtrooms. 12 of the courtrooms are utilized daily for court proceedings, requiring a minimum of 1 deputy for district court, 2 deputies for superior court. 1 courtroom is utilized for the Hope United and the Gaston County Sheriff's Office domestic violence units. And so I've broken all those down for you so you can see what each one of the courtrooms are and what the function inside of it is. Now, we're talking about 1 deputy in district court under perfect circumstances, and we're talking about 2 deputies in superior court under perfect circumstances. If we have a high-profile case or something, it could be that we may need 4 or 5. Actually, a judge can make that decision because they're in charge of that courtroom when it's operation and can demand, basically, how many deputies we have in there, or they won't open the court. So that's very critical. So on that page, you will see how all the courts are laid out. So the Gaston County Sheriff's Office is responsible for the safety and security of every citizen entering the Gaston County Courthouse. Gaston County Sheriff's Office and detention officers are responsible for processing approximately 1,900 individuals through the main entry of the courthouse on a daily basis. It's actually a lot more than that because as people come and go, a lot of times the employees come in other ways. So that data, we have all that data, and I will supply you with that data sheet as well. Individuals visiting the Gaston County Courthouse are here for a lot of different reasons. They may be here to get a birth certificate. They may be here to get a marriage license. They may be here because they're showing up for a court proceeding for a very violent crime. So we have a large mix of people in here. One of the things that's a hindrance to us is I just told you all the people that come into this courthouse, and we have to hand search every bag that comes through here because we don't have an x-ray machine. And even if we did, we don't have the space to put it right now. That's why we've requested additional area. It's a safety risk because the deputy's at the door and people actually come in behind them. And so that's something I know we've been working with the county on. So total employees in the courthouse. There are approximately 230 employees who are employed in the following divisions in the courthouse. And of course, I went through those earlier. You can see them on the page if you have any questions about them. But those are all the employees that are in and out of this courthouse every day that expect protection from our deputies. Total elected officials in the building are 16. That consists of our 4 resident Superior Court judges, and we can often have 2 visiting judges in Superior Court. We have our 7 district court judges, we have our district attorney, our clerk of court, and our register of deeds. We don't always make people happy, and when they come to this courthouse, they're not always happy. So we have a lot of risk with a lot of elected officials. We've had death threats, we've had a lot of things happen, so it's very serious. So Gaston County court cases in 2024, there was 132,909 court cases. In 2025, we're on track, we're a little over 62,000 to date. Total county courthouse staff, year 2000, was 21 full-time, this is sheriff's office, full-time supervisors, deputies, detention officers assigned to the Gaston County Courthouse. That's 1 captain, 2 sergeants, 2 corporals, 14 deputies. We have 2 detention officers that fill roles. We have 8 half-time people. 2 of those are consistent, and as you know, our half-time people can only work 19 hours a week anyway. So that was in 2000. Fast forward to 2025, 20 years later. We have 21 supervisors, deputies, detention officers assigned to the Gaston County Courthouse. We have the same exact number we did in 2000. The Gaston County population, according to census, year 2000 was 190,791. 2025, we're at 243,786. Population increase of approximately 27%, approximately 52,945 citizens. What kind of impact does that have on us? We said, well, we build new neighborhoods, we're not going to have these problems with citizens. All of them have matters that come to the courthouse. It could be criminal, it could be civil, it could just be coming up here for evictions. There's a lot of things they come up here for. So the more we build, the more we populate, this building gets a lot more traction. So the Gaston County Jail daily average population, and we're still trying to get back to, we can't find the records from 2013. Of course, our offices have been upside down for the last 2 weeks for renovations. But the Gaston County Jail daily population in 2013 was 493. That was 430 males, 63 females. Year 2024, 661 was the daily average population. That's 560 males, 101 females. That's approximately a 34% increase. Jail populations are a direct reflection on court proceedings. Every individual booked into the Gaston County Jail will face some type of a court proceeding, meaning they need to come here. Other offices in the courthouse have added staff due to increased workload that directly has an impact on the sheriff's office. The district attorney's office, since 2021, when DA Page took over, has added 5 positions. The clerk's office, since 2000, has added 14 new positions. The register of deeds, which doesn't have as much effect, it's just people coming in and out for different things like marriage license, but they've increased 2 positions since 2004. So all of these divisions have increased their positions that affect what we do every day except us. So other acquired duties of deputies here at the courthouse. Movement of inmates from jail facilities to courthouse holding cells. We at times move 40 inmates with 2 detention officers or deputies through that tunnel because all of our other deputies and detention officers are tied up. Movement of inmates into courtrooms from the holding cells. We leave a courtroom, and we go and we get the inmate and bring them back in there. One deputy. We escort magistrates, we escort people with money to different areas. I won't go into great detail on that. It's on there. 7:30 every morning, we have a deputy that has to be in the courtroom 2D for pretrial services. Deputies have to respond to situations all throughout the courthouse for disturbances. They're constantly getting called to the clerk's office because someone's upset or any other division, and they're having to respond to those calls on top of their other responsibilities. Deputies have to escort individuals to their vehicles. If there's some kind of domestic, a judge will order that the deputy make sure they get safely out to their vehicles. That happens regularly. We have to take individuals into custody. So if everyone's tied down to a court, the front entry, the movement in the basement, the camera room, we have a captain that regularly works a courtroom, and these judges can tell you, that's unacceptable. That man needs to be running this place, not sitting in a courtroom. We have supervisors, our sergeants, sitting in a courtroom, which doesn't leave people out to be roaming around the courthouse to make sure that we're safe with all the people that we have coming in and out here. So if we have to take someone in custody, we have to be very creative about that. If they have a warrant on them or a judge orders them into custody. Security sweeps through the courthouse to ensure the safety and security of elected officials, employees, and citizens. And we do 3 money escorts every day. Other factors to be taken into consideration are breaks, their lunch breaks, their training, vacation, sick leave, and FMLA. So I won't mention the names of some of our neighboring counties and their staffing, but one of them has 6 full-time deputies, 5 part-time deputies, 7 detention officers, and they operate 4 courtrooms. Another one has 8 full-time deputies, 6 part-time deputies, 4 transport officers, 2 detention officers, and they operate 4 courtrooms. Another one, they operate 7 courtrooms, have approximately 900 visitors a day. I just told you we have almost 2,000, and they have 41 deputies because they're probably doing it the right way where they have 2 deputies in each courtroom, but I understand that we can't get quite to that point. But as you can see there, so the deputy's responsibility need to be covered. We have 2 on the front entry, we have a camera room, we have 2 downstairs moving inmates back and forth from the jail and up to the courtrooms if possible. Supervision rounds, courthouse security, and then the 14 positions. That leaves no extra positions to do what we need to be doing here. This was a need. It was a need in my budget 2 years ago. It was a need in my budget this year. The staff of the courthouse here, I commend them for making it work, making it happen. When we had our first courthouse security team meeting, our first meeting, I was told, you need help. I didn't go to them. They came to me and said, you need help. We've got to keep the courtrooms running. We've got to keep this place safe. You need help. So that's where we're at on that. And I was going to open that up for questions or if there's anything to be added.
Any questions from the board? Commissioner Bailey?
Yes, sir, Sheriff. You said that the Sheriff's Commission come in and done a study.
Yes, sir.
What was their determination of what was needed at the courthouse? Or do you remember?
It's a book. You talking about manpower-wise?
Personnel.
I told them, at that time, I don't, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking to be safe here. What they noted in there, and I can give you a copy of, is that, because I told them, I said, we're not trying to get manpower out of this. We're trying to look at courthouse security. But it was a lack of, we can't get things done. We can't cover our bases because we're a lack of manpower. They have those numbers, and I can get them, but at that time, that's not what we were after. We were after the specific about the building, because that's their goal. They don't do manpower studies and things. They just do, they're looking at the security of the building overall,
Okay.
like ingress, egress, and all the.
Did you say they could get manpower studies,
Yes.
though? I'd like to look at that, if you don't mind.
Mr. Sheehan?
Sheriff, if I could real quick, if you could go back to page 12 for me of your presentation. The very top listing there, year 24 to 25 on the court cases. Do you have any other data that goes further back than that 1-year comparison?
Yeah, Yes, we can get all that data, and I can get it. I actually have something here from our district attorney, Travis Page. I think I included that in your file there as well. Bear with me just a second. Yeah, so one of the things that DA Page sent me, and that's included in your packet, he talks about the how his staff has grown, but he said in Superior Court alone, our criminal sessions have increased from 63 criminal sessions in 2023 to approximately 89 criminal sessions in 2025. This does not include civil sessions. And he also attached a lot of data from 21 to 24. But he said in Superior Court, we've had 630 convictions in 2021 versus 824 in 2024, which means those are folks that are coming through, and we have to deal with them. It's important to note that Superior Court that each guilty plea typically takes 10 to 15 minutes of court time. When a courtroom is open, there must be a deputy in the courtroom at all times. So that's some of the data, and there's a lot of it out there to support that.
Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I have a few. I'll ask the question. So the DA +5, clerk's office +14, register of deeds +2.
Yes,
It's
sir.
not our look at because they add positions. And that's why I worry about how that looks, because our advantage is what's happening in the courthouse, serving of papers in the jail. We've talked about it ad nauseum over duplication of services, whatever it may be. Since 2022, we had 242 deputies here. Now in 2025, we have 256. That's a total of 14 extra. So my problem is, and this is not against you, it's just, I'm
Since
very-
what date?
Sorry?
Since what date was that?
2022 was 242, and now we're at 256.
That's, I can tell you because we went through and cleaned up. These are people that was already there. We didn't add these people. They were not accounted for because they were counting overhires, and we've got all that.
And like I said,
Track
this is
back.
not, this is, I'm very appreciative for every law enforcement officer in this room. I'm glad you guys showed up tonight, because you show up because you care. But also, this board cares as well. And that's where I'm trying to figure this out. And like I said, until we can figure it out, it's a ongoing moving target. I guess we talked
Yes.
about this in our meeting on Friday. We've increased the budget for the sheriff's office every year, and I mean exponentially. Not, we're talking before you and after, and during your period. So when we give a budget, that is filled throughout. And my problem I have with when we talk about the courthouse, 49 Fridays in a year, we don't have court in the afternoon. Vacant every Friday, every courtroom, all 12 of them.
Mr. Brown, I'll tell you, the courts open and close constantly at discretion of the judges and how they run them. And there's a lot of moving parts in that, and I will let judges discuss that, but that is, and I will let them actually.
Well, my question is,
Like people
and
run-
all I'm
they
asking,
run it every day.
I'm just trying for basic math from 8 to 5. From 8 to 5, if we're paying 40 hours a week, we're not working on the weekends in the courtrooms. My thing is, we're in the afternoon, every Friday for the past 49 Fridays in a row. It looked like that, empty. There's nobody, there's no court going on ever on a Friday afternoon for the last 49. My problem is, I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm not saying we can't have them, I'm not saying we don't. But I know we've added 14 positions, we have no court on Friday, we have duplication of services going on. Why can we not take people from the road or wherever it may be and put them either in the jail or in the courthouse? That is my question, and I'm not trying to be mean to you. I want some answers because we're trying to figure it out. I asked you this Friday, and you told me to get my facts. I got my facts. As I came right after we talked, I went and took pictures, and it's there. They're not there, 49 in a row.
Okay, well, first of all, I would like for whoever did it, find me 14 positions. I'd love to see them, that I've added, which did not happen. The other part is, I keep hearing about all these folks that I've added to the road. And I've taken people out of the jail and placed them at this place and that place. Please find them for me. I take people out of the jail constantly because that is a natural progression. People work their way out of jail to fill vacant positions whether it be the court, the road, or whatever. We took the 4 canines out of the jail at the, actually, at the recommendation of the legal staff because the jail dogs was causing a lot of problems. They're out on the road where they should be. So that's the people that we've taken out of the jail, and we have those numbers. We can have those conversations again. But also to your point, when I keep hearing about the road, we have the same number of people on the road when I got here, except for the canine positions, which we took out of the jail. We still have the same number. All that's proof. It's in documents. So I'm not sure where that comes from. I keep hearing about we have this high-speed traffic unit, and we're out here writing everybody tickets. Office-wide, from July of 2024 till June 30th of 2025, office-wide, we stopped a total of 479 vehicles. That's about 1 per day. 1.3 if you want to be exact. I ran a traffic unit, and we wrote, I think, 175 citations the other day. They actually had a number just from January. We wrote 175 citations. Like I said, I ran a traffic unit. And if that's the numbers my traffic unit produced, I'd fire every one of them. So we're not running a traffic unit. We haven't added a traffic unit out here. All the staff right here can tell you, not sure where that's coming from. I don't have people to take off the road to come and work into the courts. But we do, at times, to fill in. We help them in any way we can to pull people in here to help them. The problem is when we talk about this stuff, there's all kind of perceptions, but I want somebody to show me the 14 positions that I added. I want to see that on paper because that's not a fact. I cannot create a position unless you as a board approve it. And I asked the board, have you approved me 14 positions?
We talked about the road. How many people are on the road?
Okay, that was a question you and I talked about before. We have 12 people on a team. I know that last time that was brought up, and they was talking about there was 20. And what they're talking is, so we have a captain, a sergeant, a corporal who actually works a township, which is in your pack, I think in your packet. If not, I'll give you a copy. So we have 12 people that are on the road. That's covering our 6 townships. Domestic violence, we got 2 domestic violence deputies for this whole county. We have 2 child support deputies for this whole county. So we have 12 on a team. We have a team, they work 9 to 9, and then when they're off, the other teams work 9 to 9. They have 12 folks as well. We have a sex offender unit, has different functions, but they manage almost 600 registered sex offenders.
I go back to the 12 we talked about on Friday, and I just happened to pull it up while me and you were in the meeting. 14 were on the road at that time. 18 were on the road the week before that. 14 last Friday when the manager and the other ones were riding around looking at the jailhouse to figure out what we can do about expanding the jail when we were out. My question is...
Okay, when you say they were on the road, Mr. Brown, where were they on the road? We have a lot of people out. You're talking about the road division. We have people that's assigned to all the county buildings. We have a sex offender unit. Like I said, you have 12 people, but you have the child support is they're not part of the patrol or of the road division. They have a whole different function. That's all they do. So that's why I said we've got to compare apples to apples here, and that's where we have a problem. I will show you the people we have on, if you're going around counting cars or looking at the CAD, you got to look at what they were doing. Were they out of school? Were they in training? Were they over here working at the building? Were they switching shifts? And I know what you brought up was you see a lot of our cars around here. This is our home base. This is where we operate out of.
Armed robbery last Friday over at the Dollar General. K-9 unit was assigned or called to from the Gaston County PD at 911. K-9 from the sheriff's office was the one who was tracking a gentleman with a long gun, bulletproof vest, red dot scope, but we tracked him with a bloodhound. The Gaston County Police was called off of that when their dog was called out. My question is, and I'm not saying you can't be police, I'm not saying you can't do that, but we have to have cooperation. That's what we've been asking for, and that's what I've been asking for ever how long. Obviously, it's a difference of opinion in what people think. When you look at it, and I look at it on Fridays, 8 to 5, we still got empty courtrooms, and I don't understand. I can't figure it out. I'm sorry. You told me to get it. I went and looked. I came here for the last 49 Fridays in a row. We've not had anybody have court in the afternoon. So where are those deputies that were in the courtroom that morning, because it doesn't bleed over to the afternoon? That's all I'm asking, is just tell me how we get to this point. I went out and got it all, and I get that.
Well, there's a lot of details. We have deputies that's doing teen court right now, as we speak. So we do teen court. We have to handle, they may be called into probate court. That's another actual courtroom. And so there's a lot of moving parts there that if you just go and look and take a picture or something, you got to know all the details of the schedules these folks do every day. And I can tell you, if a traveling judge decides or figures out they're not going to be traveling, they say, hey, we're going to open up a courtroom, which happens, then we're pulling people off the road. We're pulling people from anywhere we can to cover it.
You talked about halftime workers. We've had halftime for 19 hours, correct?
Yes, sir.
Does any of those work in the jail and/or to the courts?
Yes. We have half-timers that work at our scanner, processing people into the jail. We have half-timers that do mental transports for us and work doing transports out of the jail. We have half-timers that work up here when they can.
Like I said, I'm still just trying to figure out how we have this, and we've increased the budget. We give you a budget. We can't tell you how to use it. You can put them on the road, you put them in the jail, put them in the courts, do whatever, but that's the budget we present to you every year as it's presented to the manager. So my question is, when we're the ones that are always looked upon as the person who puts the thumb on it, we're not. We've increased that budget every year, if I'm not mistaken, for as long as I've been here, correct? And I'd hate to see I'd like to know the percentages of what that has increased. Let's just say since 2010 to today, what that budget has increased, because I know it's double digits. And if those are the cases that we're doing that, then we're making mistakes in where we do things, not necessarily what we're doing.
We're not making mistakes when we have to feed 600 to 700 inmates and the cost of food goes up. Everything goes up. Supplies go up. We have to maintain medical. People don't come to the Gaston County Jail generally physically or mentally healthy. We have to keep those people. I mean, they go to the hospital, we pay for it. But we have to feed these folks. And our cost of food went out the roof, just like yours did at your house.
Well, I don't see where, you made the comment that the DA's office was +5, the court clerk's office was +14. How is that increase in what we have as far as why it should be manpower driven when those are just workers here?
Because if those are workers and their caseloads are increasing, that means ours are too, because it directly affects what we do, because we have to maintain every courtroom and every office here and looking after people.
But if we've increased all these cases, I still can't figure out about this picture. 12 courtrooms. And like I said, I just was here. I just took pictures. That's all I did. I wanted to see because you'd asked me to get them, so I went and looked. And I don't understand why that is the way that comes up to that point. Please,
Mr.
sir.
Chair.
Yes, sir.
Commissioners, good evening. Captain Ben Henderson. We work at the discretion of the DA's office and the judges. When they need this courtroom supplied, we supply them. Every Friday morning, majority of those courtrooms, they are open. They typically run to about 11:30, sometimes over. We may have a trial. They may go over into the evening. But then, yes, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, those courtrooms begin to slow down. So you're talking about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, possibly at the most of those courtrooms are empty. So that's what you're seeing, and it depends on what time you came in the courthouse on those Fridays. What are those deputies doing? Well, that's the only window because we're tight throughout the whole week. We're talking about one day. That evening, our deputies may have online training, taking care of some other things, but we're constantly patrolling this building and doing other things that we can't do when we're in court. So that's why when you come in after, I say 1:30, 2 o'clock on a Friday, yes, but if the DA says, hey, I want to hold this court, we're going to go over, we're going to do a second session, we have to be ready. By no means can I tell a DA or a judge, I don't have anybody, because for the last month, you all have been done at 12:30. We have to have deputies in place, Mr. Chair.
Totally, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Ben.
Yes, sir.
My question, a judge was the one who had told me that pulled it for 49 weeks. That's why I said that, and there said there's no court. And it's not on you. I'm not trying to blame you guys. I'm trying to say, I want to know how the hours from 8 to 5 for 40 hours, and that's what we're based off of, is trying to get that. We know we have people on the road that are doing certain things. I'm asking, if our budget's increased and we're doing things, I think we need to have a general look at how we protect the three assets that we have. And Commissioner Bailey was the one who mentioned it last week, or last meeting, that it's the courts, the jails, and the serving of papers. I understand there's a lot of pieces to that. I'm very, very happy with the work that's being done. But like I said, I think there's more that we're doing exterior or extracurricular to make sure that we don't have that. And that's just my question. I mean, I think you're a great sheriff. My question is how we do these things and how it continues to be that we have this many people. And, you know, I look at this and you know, you simply stated to me to get my facts. I went and looked and there's nobody here. So I don't understand that part. That's just what I'm after. Any other questions from this board? Mr. Sheehan.
Sheriff, it might be something better suited for Mr. Lowrance. I don't know if you can direct it. What kind of advance notice do y'all receive from judges as far as we'll need so many deputies to run court this day, the next day? How far does that schedule project out so you can accommodate getting the deputies secured for that?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good evening. Ask your question again, please.
What kind of advance notice do you receive from the judges, the DA, as far as how many deputies will be required to operate court, whether it be that day, the next day? How far out is that projected so you have time to prepare to secure those deputies to operate court?
We asked to receive a list the day before. We have a district court and a superior court judge list that we go by to try to determine what courtrooms and how many deputies we need to staff each courtroom each day. But each day, every courtroom runs. All 7 districts, all superior courts run. Yeah, the emails come in. We try to request to have them by 4 o'clock the day before so that we're able to staff appropriate and have an inmate list to be able to have the proper inmates in the proper courtroom to better serve the judges and the court staff.
That request for 4 p.m., is that typically adhered to, or is more
For the
times
most
than
part,
not?
yes. Yes, sir, for the most part.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
If I could clarify up on the training that Mr. Henderson brought, he brought up a really good point. A lot of our staff has the opportunity while they're out in their vehicles, they can get on their computer, potentially do some training. If they're at the jail, they can. But when they're up here, it's very difficult. They're required to do the same in-service training the rest of us are. It's required by the state. But they don't have the luxury because they're always pinned down somewhere. And I know it looks like we do the escorts. We do 3 escorts out of here a day. We're constantly moving. There's constantly something going on here. And that's why just because the courtroom is not running doesn't mean that like we're not trying to get everyone back down to the jail. If they're up here during feeding time, we've got to make sure they get food up here. We may have to bring up someone to get their medicine. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to that. But I just would clarify that the road thing and the 14 positions, I want someone to provide that to me. Again, the board has to approve every position. And so if I have 14 positions, the board approved it, but I want to see that in writing. But the other thing is, I know that the big topic is about Gaston County Sheriff's Office stopping vehicles. And I can lay the oath out for you for a police officer and a deputy, they both say the same thing. They will uphold the Constitution, the laws of the state, and the laws of this county. And to tell my people, if someone is violating the law in front of you, turn your head, turn a blind eye, will be neglectful and just wrong. Tell them to violate that. You as a citizen, if you saw a law enforcement officer, whoever it is, and someone's blatantly violating the law in front of them and you turn a blind eye to it, That's not a good look. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for our county. People expect law enforcement. We took the same oath. We're driving around, we have badges, guns, and vehicles that they expect us to respond when things happen. So when they're out there and so things happen, years ago, the AVL started. That was for us to help each other. If someone was closer to the call, it doesn't matter what agency, doesn't matter what color your uniform is, if you were closest to that call, you respond to it. Because someone's life's in jeopardy. I don't think any citizen would complain about that. That was put in place years ago when I was at City of Gastonia Police Department. So if a robbery's going on, or, you know, I remember one time it was about a bomb situation. They called me and said, hey, you mind if this, I said, I don't care who it is. They're a bomb tech. Bring them. When we get in to start figuring out and trying to pick what law enforcement officer protects us, I think that's a bad thing. I want whoever's the closest to me. I don't care what kind of car they're driving, as long as they're coming to help me. And I think that's where we're losing focus here. I can't help we have a county police and a sheriff's office. That's just the way it is. Have nothing against the county police at all, but what happens is when people start talking about duplication of services, you can't put a deputy out here sworn to do a job and tell them not to do it. And tell them to violate their oath. Just turn your head to that. You can't do it. If a robbery's going down, my people better be there if they're close.
Mr. Bailey.
Yes, just got I guess a statement or a question, however you'd want to take it. Sheriff, you've done this presentation already, requesting positions.
Yes, sir, I did.
A number of months back. The positions were approved,
Yes.
correct?
Yes,
It
sir.
was put into our budget.
Yes, sir.
We got a letter from the chief judge, the district attorney, and the Superior Court judge saying we need these positions. And then out of, not necessarily thin air, but out of deliberation, we decided to cut the positions. After the county manager said that they were needed, a chief judge said they were needed, the Superior Court judge said they were needed, a district attorney said they were needed, and you had requested them, and then they were cut. That's the thing that I don't understand. And yes, I'm for cutting the budget, but when you have that many people stepping forward and saying these are needed for the safety of the other officers, the citizens of this county, and the employees of the courthouse, I don't understand what's going on. And that's all I need to say.
I just wanted to ask the question. First of all, ain't nobody ever going to tell you not to do your job. That's not why we're here. I'm going to state it again. No one's telling you not to do your job. Targeted traffic enforcement and different things that you're doing creates a situation. I took an oath as well. My oath was a fiduciary responsibility of this county. There's a general statute in place that says what's going to happen and how that works. And the sheriff's office in this county is to do three things. We've allowed it to do things, have no problem. If somebody is doing something in front of you, please take them out. Do what you got to do. But when we're jumping calls, we're doing things, even the meeting I mediated, Sheehan and I mediated the meeting. It was talking about, we're not going to do that. We're going to make sure we talk about this, but now we're still, and I get this paper from last Friday where we jumped the call.
Did we jump a call, or were we the
You
closest?
jumped the call. Okay, sir, we're not going to talk that. I'm sorry. You're not going to do it. What I'm going to say is we do a lot where we're not asked for mutual aid. We're not asking you not to do it. We're asking you, because you talk about training. We train people on radar, correct?
They get restarted, that's correct.
And it costs us taxpayer money to go out and do the same thing that we're talking about that's not supposed to be done. So when you talk about training, I want to see, we have K-9. We have K-9, and those K-9, those are 4 positions, 2 a day, we could put inside the courthouse.
You want K-9 dogs in the courthouse all day?
But it doesn't have to be the dog. The person itself can do that, and that's.
Yeah,
but you can
the dogs
argue
do
with it
come
all.
in.
You can argue all day. It's not part of what we're doing when we're on the road. And I say that to say, I want everybody to be safe. This is not trying to say, and you can bring them all in here and you can send text messages. I don't care. He's not going to talk to me about it because I've already talked to you. We still hadn't taken care of the situation that happened last time.
They're here because they care about their job, Mr. Brown.
I agree, but their job is not in jeopardy. Their
No.
job is we give you a budget. When we give you that budget, you can do anything you want. We can't tell you what to do with it, but the thing we do in our oath is a fiduciary to this Gaston County. And I promise you, we're going to sit here, we're going to have this conversation over and over, because I was told last week we shouldn't have had that on TV. I've had that conversation with you in your office. I've had it behind closed doors, and nothing ever gets done. And then these people get mad at me because I want to sit here and ask a question. I'm tired of getting the beat of the brunt of it every time, that I'm the bad guy because I asked a question. Nobody cares about this county more than I do. I can promise you that. And I'm not saying you don't. But what I'm trying to tell you is we have things that we can do. We give a budget. I don't know what the increase is. We can get that. But I guarantee you, in that budget, it's been increased. You can do different things with the budget. And you can't tell me we don't have people on the road, because I have pages after pages after pages that says we do.
You're absolutely right. We do, and I can prove every one of them to you, where they're at. You brought up to me the other day about 2 cars sitting over here at DSS. It could have been shift change. It could have been them sitting there. Who knows? But the cars who are working, who are out there, I mean, that's when you just pull up something and you just ask the question. Call me. Every one of you have my phone number. If you have a question about that, call me.
Mr. Sheehan.
Mr. Chairman, when you referenced targeted traffic operations, can you divulge what are you referring to exactly?
Well, I think when we have things that are going on, like I said, we started this whole thing because of something that wasn't involved in the sheriff's office. We thought it was. That's how we looked into it. We found out that we have governor's crime prevention. I made a comment to say, hey, why can't we help in areas where we're needed? Because that's not something we need. Jumping calls. You admitted it in the meeting we had. Hey, that people want to be police officers. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with them doing something if it's right in front of them. But when we're out here going after targeted crime and we're trying to get to things, it bothers me that we're sitting here saying we're not doing it, but we are. There's duplication of services, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it. But every time we do it, we just gloss it over as, no, it's just this and it's just that. And it costs us money every time. We have increased that budget, and like I said, I'm not just you. We did it when the sheriff previous to you, the one before him, and the one before. It's an ongoing cycle. And eventually, we're to the point we're at now to where we need money to do things, and we fight over where the money goes. I think everybody on this board will say, we fight for where the money goes. Who's going to get it? We've talked about doing nothing more. You asked the question the other day, you willing to cut anything? I said, I'm willing to cut anything on this board. I don't care. I don't have a problem. I've been willing to cut anything. Other people haven't. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying I'm willing to do whatever we got to do to make it work. And this is the one thing that got brought up to me. I got tired of it. I spoke on it, and I got criticized for being the bad guy. I was told, don't open your mouth until you have facts. I get facts, and I'm still to the same point. We're not getting anywhere today. We're not going to get anywhere tomorrow. But I can promise you this. I know from 8 to 5 when I start doing something, I get pictures. You tell me go look. I go look. I took pictures. You talk about the people. You asked me who was sitting where. I left our meeting that me and you had in that building over there, and I got pictures of 9 within a block radius. Not saying it was wrong. You didn't hear me complain about that to you. Not one time. I just made the simple fact is, hey, if we have 2 cars sitting in the DSS parking lot, one out back, one over here, one turning the corner and doing whatever, we got to have some stability to what we're doing. We have to get back. You could be the best sheriff this place has ever seen. I promise you that. I believe that. But we have to get back to what we're doing. We want to do these things. We want to go over here. And I hadn't even mentioned the one. I'm not going to tonight because I said I wouldn't. But I'm tired of everybody fighting between who's policing in this county. Whether it be the county police, the city police, the sheriff's office, or whomever it may be. These people put their life on the line every day for me. And I'm proud of them every day they do it. I'm not going to tell them that they can't do work. But what I'm saying is there's certain things that we look at and people say, hey, how does this happen? You're supposed to have a fiduciary responsibility to this county for spending money. I mean, I don't get it, and I'm sorry, I don't get it. Till somebody can explain it to me, I want to know how much money we've spent in the last, since 2010, on the office of the sheriff's office compared to other police departments. We talk about other, sorry, Commissioner Hovis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Chairman's talking about resource utilization, and that's your manpower. And his conversation in reference to Fridays equates to this, just putting it very simply. All the courts that you have listed on page 8, Superior Court requires at least 2, sometimes more. The other courts require 1, maybe sometimes more too, because you don't know what else is being moved. But your own numbers there, that's actually 17 bodies, okay? If there are 17 bodies that aren't being utilized in the last 4 hours of that shift, that equates to 68 man-hours, correct?
No, sir. The courthouse doesn't shut down, the whole courthouse. He's talking about specific courtrooms. This courthouse still runs. All the offices still run. People still process into this building. There's still movement, so.
I understand, and just let me go back to your page 8, where you talked about the staffing that's required in these courtrooms. Page 8, you have them listed.
Right.
And you say you need at least one, and a minimum of 1 in every one other than Superior Court. You need a minimum of at least 2. So that equates to 17 bodies. That's in the courtrooms. You with me?
Absolutely.
I mean, am I missing something here?
That there's a lot more moving parts, that where we have been having to borrow people from the road and put them in here, we've been short in another, I mean, there's a lot of things there, Mr. Hovis. I understand what you're saying, but you've got to know the dynamics and how this courthouse operates, and it's a little more complex than just saying court was shut down, you have 17 extra bodies rolling around. That's not how that works. These folks do the magic of scheduling this place every day.
I'm asking because I want to understand. The reason I asked the question, I'm sitting here trying to understand, because I'm the one who made the motion that we turned around and removed those positions. I'll be very honest with you, because we do not have unlimited resources. The citizens of this county do not have unlimited resources.
I understand.
And I know you have needs, and I know your costs for the jail are up exponentially because of food. You stated those very clearly, and I will not argue with a single bit of that conversation. But in order to pay for the food, we've got to make sure we're getting maximum utilization of our core responsibility. And that's what the chairman, I think, was trying to speak to in terms of the core function of the manpower needed in the courthouse and the primary functions. That's what he was trying to say. But my statement was, those people are not out policing the hallways. Those 17 bodies aren't policing the hallways. They're in court, correct?
When court is in session,
When
that
court
is
is in
correct.
session, that's what I'm saying.
If not,
So
then they take
somebody
care
else-
of other responsibilities.
Somebody else is securing the hallways and the entryways and the other
That's the
stuff.
problem. All of our bodies are utilized and things are not happening that should be happening. That was the request.
Well, that's
for
part
this.
of what I asked for, and your chief deputy, when he tried to speak on your behalf in your absence at our last meeting, I asked for, I said, show me data. Show me where you were short bodies. I want to understand the manpower that's missing, because I came from manufacturing, and labor was our number one controllable cost. So in your situation, it's no different. It's the same controllable cost. And that's what I want to understand is where are you deficient? The rovers who are in the hallways that aren't there because everybody's in a courtroom? That's what I'm asking. And this that I've gotten today, I haven't had a chance to divulge and go through it. I received it
All right.
when you got here, and that doesn't give me any time to analyze it or understand it or ask those questions. And I have questions, and I'll be happy to come and meet with you. I think a group of us, Mr. Chair, I think several commissioners ought to meet with you and your staff, and let's talk about it. Let's do a walk through a courthouse on a typical courthouse day, and let's observe, and let's talk about those things and where the deficiencies are and what the exposure is from a security standpoint, if that truly is a deficiency. I want to understand. But we can't just keep going to the print shop and printing money. And I think that's what the chair's trying to say, that's what we've said. We've held every other department in this county responsible for that. And I know technically you're not a department of the county, but you're funded just like every other department in Gaston County. And we need to understand that so we can make it work. We have control, we have administrative oversight for all the other departments. But you get a block of dollars and you do with it what you want to. We have absolutely no control over that. And we're not trying to control it, but we want to give you what you need. We just need to understand more about it. And I think understanding gets us, and communication gets us where we need to be. That was my edifice and my comments in previous meetings.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's somewhat what the chair's saying. He's just expressing it in a more frustrated fashion because he has taken it upon himself to go and visit the courtrooms and take pictures and observe cars and where cars are. I mean, I think all of us understand the function that happens here is very, very vital and very important to the security of citizens in Gaston County, and especially your staff. I would hate to think that because we didn't provide the manpower, that a deputy or deputies and citizens lost their lives because a stray individual got in our courthouse and created havoc, like we've seen happen in other places in this country. I would be appalled to know that I was a part of that. But I'm saying I think we need better communication and better understanding to make that happen, and that's all I'm asking.
Mr. Chair, I would just like to say, I know you say you see all these cars, you pull up to CAD. So outside of the other functions, you understand we have cars constantly in and out doing mental transports. I mean, so when you see vehicles, you're seeing all different divisions of vehicles that's moving in and out of this place constantly and around this county. So I would ask that rather than perception, that if anyone has questions about that, bring me your CAD printout, whatever you have, and we can look through that. But I'm asking this board, specifically the chair and the manager, to bring me the 14 positions that I have increased since I've been here, because I need to see that in writing.
One of the other things I wanted to make it known, we did ask the General Assembly to make sure that we funded the 5 positions through them at the same time when those requests were given. So they haven't passed their budget. So that was one of the reasons why we had discussed so much of this in scrutiny, just say, hey, we're not trying to say it's not worthy. We're trying to say we got to figure out what's going on with it. And that's where I think we have a lot of issues, is trying to figure that out. But like I said, we'll just continue just down the path. We'll continue to work together on how we can make it better, and then we'll continue to do that and doing it. Anything else? Commissioner Bailey?
Yes, sir. Sheriff, asked this as a general question. You said at 4.5 days a week, there's 17 deputies pretty much in the courtroom, correct? By Mr. Hovis's numbers.
It's his number.
I mean, correct, I mean, okay.
No, we have 12 courtrooms in
Okay,
session.
Well, I mean, does that count the 2 people at the front doors?
No, sir.
Does that count your captain or 2 sergeants that manage the facility?
They're generally in a courtroom.
Okay. Does that account for the people that works downstairs transporting inmates back and forth from the jail?
No.
Okay. Part of my job, when I was at the sheriff's office, I went to Longmont, Colorado for a month to do staffing studies. So I guess I have a training in staffing studies. You're looking at, that's 24 people. And if you do FTEs, full-time equivalents, by sheriff's training and actual correctional studies, that's 20% FTEs, which means you're always going to have people training, you're going to have people out sick, you're going to have people on light duty. So on any given day, according to the numbers that Mr. Hovis had mentioned, and that's a minimum staffing needed of 27 people a day at the courthouse. That's just rough numbers, because if there's for 4.5 days a week, if there's 17 people needed in the courthouse and other positions throughout the courthouse, this needed, they have to be there for security. That's 27 people a day. This should be required.
I think something that stuck out to me was that we have 21 people 20 years later with the growth of this county and all the activity, all the cases, all the jail populations. I mean, to me, that right there is a clear indicator that we're understaffed here outside of anything else. But thank you for the question.
Anything else? Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Any other matters need to come before this board at this time? I wanted to mention that Commissioner Sheehan, myself, Commissioner Cloninger, and Commissioner Hovis attended the Greer Middle School opening, and school will be opening tomorrow. Oh, sorry, Commissioner Kiger was there as well. I apologize. That's what we were talking about earlier when you snuck in on Bob. But no, we were there, and if you guys have not seen it, it's a great facility. It's another addition to Gaston County and what we're doing through the bond package that each of you as citizens approved and how we were paying for those. It is our third middle school, our fourth brand-new school overall. So that is a great welcome to that and one of the things we have going. Some of the other additions to this, once they start tearing down, I guess, the old school, when they get the athletic facilities there, you'll see a great addition to that area with that. So that's one of the great additions that happened just in the past week. I wanted to bring that forward to that, and all of a sudden, you know, we do start school tomorrow. Please be diligent to what's going on. Even our own Blair Hall gets to go behind the classroom door now. He leaves his old duty to go out and become a teacher. So thank you for that, Blair, and trying to work your passion of being a teacher. I hope those kids will learn something. But anything else need to come before the board?
I will say, Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes, please.
we were fortunate enough in Gaston County to pass a $250 million school bond in 2018. And in passing that, we also, the citizens passed the payment of that bond debt with sales tax dollars, not property tax. So Greer Middle School's debt is being paid with sales tax. 30% of that comes outside of Gaston County, people traveling through Gaston County buying goods and services, and are taxed. So we're getting a 30% discount on that $250 million bond package. And that has probably been one of the best things that's happened to Gaston County to maintain some level of stability in property tax. I say that because it's not going to be long that we're going to be needing to look at where we go next, because that $250 million we have just released the last $110 million, $108 million, something like that, to the school board for them to apply to projects. We're going to need to do that again in the next few years. And we still have, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Manager, we still have another 1/4 sales tax in our back pocket. It's not directed for school needs, but we could request the General Assembly to allow us to use that, correct? I personally think that's something we need to look at and continue to focus on, because our facilities are in great need of repurposing. And one of the things that I, as your county commissioner, in the last 2 years of joint meetings with the Board of Education have discussed is using some of our bond monies to do what's called land banking. In other words, let's don't wait till we get ready to build a school to find where we need to build a school. Let's look at where schools need to be and go ahead and buy that property in advance of building that school. And what that does, it allows us to make sure there's utilities, water, sewer, power, at that location whenever we do build that school, because those things don't just happen overnight. It requires planning. And by land banking and doing that, we can create that. And what I have asked the Board of Education, and they have, all I've heard is crickets, is for them in their meetings to discuss land banking and discuss completing a project that was started 53 years ago. 53 years ago. And that's the comprehensive high school plan. There's one quadrant of the county that was never completed, and that's the northwest quadrant. That's Bessemer City and Cherryville. And combining Bessemer City and Cherryville high schools into a single campus and letting our high school students have the opportunity to compete athletically within our county, instead of going all the way up to Burke County and other places that Bessemer City and Cherryville have to travel and getting back home at 10 and 11, 12 o'clock at night. That's tough on those students. It's tough on the staff. But we can do that if we will complete the comprehensive high school plan. But it's not just the academic, the athletic part. It's the academic part. The students at Bessemer City and Cherryville for the last 50 years have received less of an educational opportunity because they don't have the bodies to have the advanced classes. They don't get the teacher allocation for those advanced classes. And anybody that tells you that's not true, you tell them to explain to you how that's not true. Because I know, I see the course offerings in the schools. And they've tried to fix it with distance learning. They've tried to fix it with many other things. But we, as a county commission, are responsible for funding capital needs. But the Board of Education has to work with us, just like we're having conversation with the sheriff, in terms of our fiduciary responsibilities, and understand how to put all that together. Because the kids in this county are just as important as anything else we talk about. And until we make them a priority, we will never address the problems in schools and classrooms. And we have to do that. And I challenge you to talk to your Board of Education representatives and tell them to discuss it publicly, discuss it on their channel, so that the people hear them talking about it. Because it's an important issue. Whether you believe it or not, it's important. But thank you very much.
I wanted to mention one last thing, the Gaston County 250th Passport Celebration. Adam, where can they get these at?
Gaston County Library or Gaston County Museum.
And once you go through it, you'll see your passport for all the facilities in which you can go by and get your stamp. That's out new, cards. They've started a historic card collection that they've put together of, I don't know if you can get that, Todd, but that's part of the package that comes along with that, and they'll be giving those out throughout the county as well. Anything else become for the good of the board?
One thing, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to remind everybody of what's taking place Saturday at the Tri-Nata Volunteer Fire Department. It is directly across from the old Trine Courthouse location. Part of our 250th celebration will be starting there on Saturday. I think it begins at 10 o'clock. I would like for everybody in Gaston County to know about it. It would be great to overrun that fire department with citizens coming to be a participant in that celebration. It's a great opportunity to remember where we were and where we're going. Thank you.
This concludes our meeting for the work session for tonight. Our next regular meeting is Tuesday, August 26th, 6 p.m. here in the Harley B. Gaston Public Forum. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please remit those to Donna S. Buff, 704-866-3196. Good morning. Good morning.